Okay, vlog number 2. You know what I hate more than anything? Riding the elevator. Okay, vlog number 2. What has been your experience in our class dialogue to date? So, let me try to remember what were my experiences. Around week 3, I don't know, I probably was not in class. I missed like the first 4 or 5 class meetings of the PDF class. But from what I remember, I do remember Becky mentioning something about our group dynamics, about how our white friends are usually more likely to speak up first when, like, if we're in a setting where we're about to have a dialogue and a question has been thrown out into the middle. Our white friends are more likely to speak up and answer first, and then I guess our darker friends answer last. And she challenged that. And I don't know, this goes into when it was during testimony time, but she challenged that if you usually speak up first, then wait 10 seconds before saying anything. If you usually speak up last, then wait 5 seconds to say something. And for me, I'm usually the person to speak up last. Because a lot of times I don't have anything to say, and I'm really hard on myself about my contribution to a conversation or a dialogue, because I want to usually say something dynamic or something clever. I don't want to say something that's, for me, is obvious. But more and more I'm realizing that what might be obvious to me may be still worth mentioning or saying out loud. And also, I don't believe in saying I don't believe in saying anything that's not going to improve the silence. And I know you probably heard that quote or read it somewhere before, but that's pretty much how I live my speaking life. But the contributions that I've made to class, I feel like I ask a lot of questions. I'm not afraid to ask questions if I don't understand what something means, like the difference between race and ethnicity, or the difference between racism and prejudice. I'm not afraid to ask questions. Also, I think, and I feel like this is pretty, I'm sorry, I thought I saw someone. I feel like this is pretty egotistical of me to say, but I'm proud of myself because I am okay acknowledging the bias and prejudice that I have. I'm not afraid of owning up to that, and I think that because I can say that out loud, it makes other people more comfortable being honest with themselves and saying, you know, I might have used a few microaggressions before. I might have used a lot of microaggressions before, and that's okay. I know that I know that can be wrong and offensive now, but I have in the past. And I think it's good to do that. No one wants to feel like they're the only one messing up, and I feel like because I can say out loud that I have messed up, that it gives other people the permission to say that they have messed up too. Are we engaging in dialogue? I think so. My memory of this class at the beginning of the semester was very foggy, but I do remember a discussion between this guy whose name I cannot remember right now and Madison, and the guy was asking about reverse racism, I think, and he was just saying he didn't understand, like, what if he was the only white kid on a predominantly black basketball team. And people treated him differently because he was white. Would that be racism? And I feel like people in the class were trying to explain it in a certain way, but he just didn't understand it. I feel like he thinks that he felt like he was being attacked for his question, but Madison was polite, and she explained it in a way that was easier for him to grasp onto. And I'm pretty sure she said something along the lines of that even though he would have been the only white kid on a predominantly black or all black basketball team, he still had privilege, because once he leaves that gym or that basketball game, he was still a white male, and our society saw him as a white male, and he got all the benefits that come from being a white male. And in that one situation, he might feel like he was less privileged, but in the big scope of things, he was still privileged, and he understood that. And I felt like that was a good I think that was a good example of what dialogue can do. And I mean, it's important to acknowledge that every situation won't be that easy, because I mean, if someone has an idea or belief that they feel really strongly about, that's deeply ingrained in them, and I feel that that's not fair, or I feel like one of their beliefs is like, if I feel like it's not fair to a certain group of people, me saying that one time, me saying I don't think that's right, or I don't think that's fair, or I think that's prejudice, may or may not change how they feel in that moment. The guy in the example that I was talking about before, he understood it in that moment, but it may not always be that way. So I just wanted to throw that out there. But I think we're learning how to, I think at this point we're learning, and we're still learning how to participate in dialogue, and we're getting better at it as we reflect, and we acknowledge things that we might have done wrong in dialogue and things that we might have done right. Our dialogues are getting better and better with every class. And I think that's all I have for this one, and I'm going to move on to vlog number 3. Peace.